Welcome to week 7 of SDRL season 7 and our second doubleheader. We'll start our racing in Texas and then, by the magic of the internet, finish in Saudi Arabia. Our reserve drivers today sees Kilser and Cloud in at Red Bull, Moofy in at Williams and Mint Block and Shuri at Sauber. There is no replacement for Barbance. Quali for this first race was one shot, with Zyros turning in a 131.6 for pole. Shan was a 10th behind, and Alex a further 10th behind Shan. With 20 laps of COTA to traverse, most of the field, including the front 7, opted to start on mediums. Shuri, Cloud and Jack took hards, and Rando softs. The launch was tidy for all at the front. Even with the temptations of the blind turn 1, the grid made it around with some wheel banging, the worst of the contact. As the race order settled coming into lap 2, Mars and Sert found their way into the top 5, with the first over 1 second delta all the way back at P10. It's always an idea to keep an eye on Cloud, even when he starts P13. By lap 6, Cloud had made the top 5, but was still 2 seconds shy of Mars in P4. If you were looking for wheel-to-wheel racing, Jack and Berkey had it in spades, with an extended sequence of breathtaking turns, battling over the lower order points. Lap 8 saw Cloud challenge Mars for P4 at turn 11, a move he completed on the run down to turn 12. Mars immediately dropped into the pits for hards and a hopeful chance at the undercut. Heading into lap 9, the front 3 hadn't changed since lap 3, but now Cloud was sat in P4. Cloud made his first move on Shan's P3 heading into the S's and then backed off until the back straight out of turn 11, where he eased into P3 ahead of Shan. 9 laps was the limit for the mediums, seeing Zyros, Alex and Shan pit for hards. With the chance of rain in the next 5 minutes, the biggest threat to Cloud's relentless march seemed it would be the weather, especially if his hards punctured before the rain came. By lap 12, Zyros was lapping over a second faster than Cloud on his old hards, with the delta dropping well below the cost of Cloud's mandatory pit. Cloud blinked on lap 13 and switched to mediums, emerging from the pits in P6. By the time the rain did come, Cloud had moved back up to P3 and the entire field dropped back into the pits for 5 laps on inters. Cloud made his move for P2 before they were fully out of the pits, taking Mars as they exited the pit lane for turn 1. He then set his sights on Zyros 3 seconds ahead. Behind Cloud, Mars sat in P3, Orax P4, Shan in P5. By the time they headed into turn 11 of lap 18, Cloud was riding Zyros' slipstream. The final laps would be epic, as are so many of the battles involving Cloud. Notable here for the epic defence Zyros staged turn through turn. Ultimately, a small mistake by Zyros at the end of lap 19 shifted the balance in Cloud's favour, converting the advantage to an overtake in turn 1. Cloud would take the flag and the home victory, with the valiant Zyros P2, Mars P3 and Orax P4 on track, later amended due to penalties. Shan would take P4, Alex P5, Orax P6, Sert P7, Shuri P8, Berkey P9 and Kilser rounding out the points. On to Saudi. With the reverse championship grid here at Jeddah, we have our regular point scorers sat back from row 4 onwards. The test will be for the front rows to hold the line and the back rows to keep their wings while working through the pack. It would transpire that very few wings would survive. 18 laps in Saudi had everyone starting on mediums, save for Josh on hards and Rando on softs. Turn 1 didn't disappoint. Rob Kaz locked his front tyres and barrelled into Jack's, both coming off the track. Epa Ake managed to glide through the carnage and into P2 behind a quickly recovering Jack's. Coming into lap 2, Jax held the lead, Epa Ake P2, Lay P3, Berkey and Orax P4 and 5. Orax would lose his front left corner at the unforgiving turn 4 on lap 3, bringing his race to an end and the safety car onto the track. Under the safety car, Mars elected to stay out to avoid a double stack, a move that would ultimately cost him dearly. Mars was out front but would need to pit at some point, while everyone else on fresh tyres would not. After the restart, Takubi continued his rise up the grid from his P18 start, passing Jax and putting some distance between his P3 and Cloud's P8 behind. Berkey took the lead from Mars at the beginning of lap 8, with Takubi locked in their slipstream in P3. Shan was over 3 seconds back in P4 and Cloud a further second behind, now in P5. A beautiful sweeping move saw Takubi take P2 from Mars in turn 13, quickly followed by a sequence that gifted Takubi the lead when Berkey in P1 lost his rears and then his wing to the wall, coming out of turn 17. A devastating moment for Berkey in P1, who'd look good for a podium at least. Heading into lap 10, Mars in P2 was sandwiched between Takubi and Cloud. A royal battle over 8 laps looked ready to be served. Takubi, the 2-time SDRL champion, and the clinical Cloud with 8 laps to undo Takubi's lead. Another 3 seconds back, Kilza in P5 led Sert in P6, Alex in P7 and Zyros P8. Turn 4 was not done messing with our drivers, with Sert winning the brown trousers save of the day on lap 10. Cloud waved goodbye to Mars at the beginning of lap 11 and started his pursuit of Takubi, who'd managed to pull a 2-second gap during the lap. It was lap 15 that Cloud finally managed to creep inside Takubi's DRS. He made his first move heading into turn 1 of lap 17, but Takubi expertly held his ground while finding enough traction to defend Cloud's attempt at a switchback. Coming into lap 18, Cloud once more seemed poised to take P1 into turn 1. Once more Takubi bravely defended, both cars side by side into turn 4. Cloud had to give, running off track and then regaining alongside Takubi for a battle through turns 5 and 6. Takubi resiliently held the lead. It would be Takubi who brilliantly took the flag despite Cloud's best efforts. One of the few times through the season the relentless Cloud had been resisted. Shan once more took an impressive podium in P3. In the Drivers' Championship, Cloud's P2 gave him the Season 7 crown. We understand Sert is putting together the Lego trophy as we speak. Mars and Barbans look set to fight for runners-up honours at Spa in Week 8. In the Constructors, Alpine look to have it locked as long as one of their drivers shows up at Spa. Mars and Alex may have something to say about that though. Make sure to keep watching for the final race of the season. We're better than Spa.